Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, Stephanie.
It's our TLC unit for today.
Yay!
Of course, TLC is a TV channel, and you can watch some wonderful documentaries or educational programs on that channel. And we're talking about this guy named Buddy Valastro Jr. here, and his new program, I guess it's called, what's the new program
Buddy's
called?
Big Bakedown.
Buddy's Big Bakedown.
Yeah, notice that the title there, guys, it's in italicized font. So it kind of moves to the right. That's usually done to titles of things. So that's his new show's name.
That's the name of the show indeed, and it's the Battle of the Bakers. Of course, a baker is a person who bakes food. They usually bake cakes or bake pastries.
Yeah.
And, of course, a place where you can buy cakes and pastries is called a bakery. And I guess Mr. Valastro has a bakery in New Jersey there, which is right next to New York City. So if you happen to be in the Big Apple, hey, you could maybe take the PATH train over there and check it out. But again, we're talking about one of his new programs here called Buddy's Big Bakedown. I guess it's about a competition between bakers.
Yeah. We've got a lot of reality TV competitions these days on TV. One of my favorites is Top Chef, which is still on. But, yeah, The Cake Boss was his original show, and it was just about his family and their bakery there in New Jersey. But he's become so famous now that he's opened up more branches of Carlo's Bakery. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, guys, if there are different branches of a bakery, for example, or a restaurant, don't call those stores. Okay, a restaurant isn't a store. It's a different, it's a restaurant chain. Here we're talking about branches of a bakery. Be careful with that. We're going to read through today's lesson first, and then we'll be back to talk about this new show. The world has gone mad for cake. These days, cakes are more than just a tasty treat served at birthdays, weddings, and anniversaries. Eye-catching designs and elaborate constructions transform many cakes into veritable works of art. Few people have mastered the craft of cake making better than Buddy Valastro Jr., the cake boss. Buddy started working in his father's bakery, Carlo's Bakery, at the age of 11, and has never looked back. Over the past decade, Buddy's opened 21 more branches of Carlo's Bakery in the U.S. and Brazil. He's also appeared on several TV baking shows, including TLC's Buddy's Big Bakedown. On Buddy's Big Bakedown, two teams compete to see who can present the best cake in 4 hours. The teams, pairs of contestants with experience in the baking industry, go head-to-head as they design, bake, and decorate their cake creations. Buddy knows from experience that 4 hours for such a task is no easy feat. That's why he's expecting the bakers to manage their time efficiently. Complicated designs can take hours to complete, while some cake fillings need time to set before they can be built upon. Attempting to rise to Buddy's challenge on one episode are two grandmother-granddaughter pairs. Cameron, a 13-year-old with her own baking business, creates and sells cakes and other baked goods with the help of her grandmother, Clara. Debbie, the owner of award-winning bakery Swirly Girls, loves sharing the kitchen with her teenage granddaughter, Sage. The goal of each duo is to create a three-dimensional princess cake with a filling fit for royalty. With access to all the ingredients and equipment they could dream of, the team's prepared to bake it like Buddy.
Okay, everybody, it's time now to discuss the contents of today's lesson. First of all, Let's take a look at the title here. Buddy's Big Bakedown, The Battle of the Bakers. Now, of course, this is the title of the show, and it features the star of the show, Buddy Valastro Jr. Buddy is most often a nickname. Sometimes it's an actual formal name, but most of the time it's just a nickname. Buddy just kind of means friend, pal. You know, how you doing, buddy? How you doing, pal? This might be his nickname, but in any case here, that's the name he uses for this program here. And it's all about this big Bakedown. Now, bakedown does not really exist as a word in the dictionary. I'm thinking that this is kind of from the word showdown. The word showdown means kind of a final contest, which is what this show is all about. So they're making a new word here. It's kind of a baking contest, a baking showdown, so hence bakedown. Buddy's Big Bakedown. It's a big baking competition.
Yeah, kind of fun. Sometimes we do that with words in our languages. I know you guys make up new words too.
Sure.
This is something they've made up that's kind of clever. So these days, cakes are really, really popular. They're more than just a tasty treat for birthdays and weddings, anniversaries. Anniversary can be a wedding anniversary, or maybe you have a special event that you want to remember each year as that date arrives. So you might want to order a cake. Eye-catching designs. If you've ever watched The Cake Boss on TV, you've seen some amazing designs. They're not only great artists, they have to be kind of good at engineering. Because some of their cakes move and have smoke and do things. They're crazy. They're really talented. So elaborate constructions will transform many cakes into veritable works of art. So they have very elaborate constructions. Elaborate means there's a lot of detail to them. They're carefully arranged. They're quite complicated, usually in design and planning. Typically for the cake boss and his cakes, it takes them longer than a day or two. They'll work on these cakes for a couple of days, and they're usually giant creations.
Indeed, veritable works of art, virtual works of art. You could say that they're actually works of art. And gee, if somebody asked you to cut the cake, you might feel guilty. Gee, isn't this a work of art? I don't want to cut this.
Don't want to ruin it.
But of course, it's a cake, and of course, it's going to spoil and rot if you don't eat it right away. So it's meant to be eaten indeed. So again, we've got these eye-catching designs and these elaborate constructions. I did want to say that many temples in Taiwan feature elaborate decorations, like carvings and paintings and things like that. They are quite elaborate. And of course, they transform all these cakes into wonderful works of art. Now, few people have mastered the craft of cake making better than Buddy Valastro Jr., the cake boss. Okay, so again, this is the craft or the art of cake making. Of course, you all make cakes here in Taiwan, but I think bakeries in Western countries enjoy this more because I guess eating cake for celebrations is more of a custom in the West than it is in the East. So, of course, you've got bakeries in Europe and in North America that can make some pretty wonderful cakes for various celebrations, birthdays, weddings, bar mitzvahs, anniversaries, debuts or whatever. So yes, indeed, we're talking about Buddy Valastro Jr., and few people have mastered this craft like he has. He's the cake-making master. Nobody as good as him. And, of course, we're also describing him as the cake boss, which you mentioned earlier was the name of one of his earlier TV shows.
The first one, yeah. Buddy started working in his father's bakery called Carlo's Bakery at the age of 11. Sometimes that happens if your dad or mom are in a particular business. You might go help them, especially if they own a restaurant. I would go down to my dad's law office when I was a girl and help with things that I could do. Sometimes it was just cleaning or filing papers. So he actually started working with his dad at 11. And it said, and has never looked back, meaning he never changed his path. He just enjoyed it and kept on going. Over the past decade or 10 years, he's been very successful, I think because of his TV show. And Buddy's been able to open 21 more bakeries in the U.S. and Brazil. He's also appeared on several TV baking shows, including this one that we're talking about, Buddy's Big Bakedown. It sounds like he's not the major host of Buddy's Big Bakedown. Maybe he just puts in an appearance every once in a while, but I don't know for sure. I love cooking competitions on TV. I haven't seen this one, so I'll have to tune in.
So let's talk specifically now about our featured TV show, Buddy's Big Bakedown. And on this TV show, two teams compete to see who can present the best cake in 4 hours. So here in this sentence, we've got the verb to compete. That's a verb. That means people have a competition with each other. They have a contest. They try to beat each other. They try to win. They try to win some kind of competition. That's where the word competition comes from. Competition, of course, is the noun, and the verb is to compete. You need to compete to be number one in your class, for example. So we've got two teams of bakers, and they're competing to see who can present the best cake in 4 hours. That kind of sounds similar to other cooking shows on TV. What's that one with Hell's Kitchen or something like that? Is that a competition where teams compete
it's a competition, sure.
Gordon Ramsay is the host of that, I think. And in any case, this is one about baking, though, baking cakes and things like that. And they need to present the best cake in only 4 hours. So I suppose at the beginning of the competition, they're given some kind of competition. They're given some kind of instructions. You need to bake a cake, say, for an office party. They're celebrating them opening their market in Africa or something like that, and they'd like to have a cake to represent that success. So you need to come up with an idea, and then you need to actually bake that cake for their party, and then the person who presents the best cake in 4 hours will win the competition.
Now, the teams are pairs of contestants, so each team has two people competing. A pair is two, of course, and a contestant is someone who's taking part in a contest or a competition. A competition and a contest are very similar. Sometimes we just use one term more often in a certain field or industry than others. This could be a contest or a competition. Competition, I think, is used more if you're talking about a bakery or a food competition. It's usually competition. So they've got two people on each team. They both are experienced in baking. They've worked in the baking industry. And these teams go head to head as they design, bake, and decorate. Now, if you go head-to-head, it means you're competing directly against directly against somebody on the other side. They're going head-to-head. They have to not only design the cake, they have to bake it. So baking is more difficult sometimes than making just, a savory dish, because if you just do a savory dish, you can add and subtract, put things in, it doesn't matter. Baking, you must measure. It's a science. And if you put too much or too little of an ingredient in, your baking is destroyed. It's terrible. So you have to be very, very careful as a baker, unlike as a chef or someone who just cooks. So they have to do quite a bit to impress Buddy and to win the competition.
That's their goal. So they're competing head to head. And of course, they need to think ahead to design, to actually bake, and then to decorate that cake. And these, of course, are their cake creations. And guess what? That brings us to the halfway point in today's lesson. Let's take a break now, but please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们看的是第14单元。好，我们今天要谈的内容跟一个电视节目有关 Buddy's Big Bakedown， 我们中文翻成蛋糕天王你来当。 bake down 到底是什么？有时候我们玩牌的时候，会说一个 showdown 好像就是摊牌了，就是表示这是要比输赢，大家来看输赢大小。那 bake down 有这样的含义，就是大家来比比看，拼拼看。拼个输赢，所以说这是一个竞赛型的节目。好，那这个节目内容谈什么？我们来看一看。首先要说的就是，其实蛋糕在我们的生活里很重要，大家都喜欢。那有的蛋糕可不是只有蛋糕而已，它是一个名副其实的艺术品。好，我们看到这里，他说到名副其实这个字veritable 真的就是一个艺术品。好，那我们知道大概没有多少人会比 Buddy， 我们叫他蛋糕天王，比 Buddy 更懂得做蛋糕了。好，这个地方的 few 要记得哦，这是一个负向的一个字眼。当你说 few people， 我们中文的意思其实是没有几位，非常少，少到没什么人。好，那没有什么人比他好，意思就是说他可以说是大概天王了哦。那他11岁开始就在他爸爸的这个烘焙坊里面开始做蛋糕。好，那他呢，现在在美国，在巴西，他已经有了21家的这样烘焙坊的分店，所以你知道他真的是一个当红炸子鸡。那我们来看看第二段里面就要说到，在这个节目里会有什么好看的呢？好，第一个我们就要注意了，在某一个节目里，你用的介系词是 on Buddy's Big Down， 就是指某一集的节目里，在这个节目里头，好，它是有2队来竞争，然后他只给4个小时，看4个小时里面你哪一队哪一方可以做出最棒的蛋糕。还有呢，这竞赛的队伍是成双成对的哦，而且他们都有烘焙经验 head to head。 注意到说到他们在这里比赛的时候是 head to head， 那表示是正面交锋，可见比赛之精彩。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. So welcome back, guys. We're talking about Buddy's Big Bake Down. That's the title of the show on TLC. And it features the cake boss. Most of you know who he is if you watch TLC. He had the Cake Boss show for years. I used to watch it quite a bit, actually. Quite enjoyed it. I love to see some of the creative inventions they came up with. It's not just Buddy baking the cake. He's got some family members there, some people he just employs as artists, because you have to be an artist to design some of the cakes and the decorations they put on the cakes itself. So, cakes themselves. Buddy knows from experience that 4 hours to do all of these things and finish a fully designed and baked and decorated cake is pretty tough. They have to be very, very efficient with their time. It says here that this task is no easy feat. We'll often put these 3 words together to talk about how difficult a task really is. And feet, I know it sounds like F-E-E-T, but it's not. It's the same pronunciation as your feet that you walk with, but here, a feat here just means some sort of skilled accomplishment or achievement that usually takes a lot of strength or skill or courage, something that's difficult though. So they have to be very organized to win.
I could say the construction of Taipei 101 was a major feat in engineering. It was a great accomplishment to build that building that was once the world's tallest building. But yes, indeed, this task is no easy feat for these teams in this competition. That's why he's expecting the bakers to manage their time efficiently. Indeed, you need to plan ahead. you need to know when you're doing something. You need to account for how long you need to bake the cake in the oven and at what temperature, how much time you need to mix up the frosting, and how much time you need to decorate it. So yes, indeed, you need to use your time wisely. You've only got 4 hours. Complicated designs can take hours to complete, while some cake fillings need time to set before they can be built upon. So if something's complicated, I guess you could say it's elaborate. It involves all sorts of different considerations. It's complicated. A complicated design means lots of colors, lots of patterns and things like that. And you can't just draw it from top to bottom. You've got to plan ahead like you would a great oil painting. They can take hours to complete. And then the fillings, of course, are things that go inside the cake. And, of course, you need them to have time to set. It's like you prepare them or something, and then you need to let them sit in a certain place or bake or something.
Yeah, the fillings, of course, are usually the fruit fillings, something that goes in between the layers of cake. And sometimes you'll make the filling, and it has to get solid for a while, so it needs to set. It might be some sort of gelatin, and it has to be a little bit harder before they can continue putting the fondant, which is that hard frosting, in a big layer that they just put on, and then they start adding the decoration. So fillings, cake fillings are really my favorite part. Usually some sort of cream or jelly or jam. If it's really tasty, most cakes will have those kind of fillings. So attempting to rise to Buddy's challenge on one episode are two grandmother-granddaughter pairs. Not mother-daughter, but grandmother and granddaughter. I love this. So the granddaughters are pretty young. Now, if you rise to the challenge, guys, it means you are able to come up and be effective or successful in something that's quite difficult. Can you rise? If you rise to the challenge, you actually perform better than you usually do. So you want to rise to any challenge you have in life so you can be successful. Let's talk about these pairs.
Okay, these pairs, these two teams competing against each other. We've got Cameron, a 13-year-old with her own baking business. Wow, is that a little bit too old? Or excuse me, too young to own your own business?
I love this. She knows what she wants to do with her life.
Only 13 years old, and she's already opened her own baking business, says Cameron. And, of course, she creates and sells cakes and other baked goods with the help of her grandmother, Clara. So there you go. That's one team here, Clara and Cameron. And then we've got Debbie, the owner of award-winning bakery Swirly Girls, loves sharing the kitchen with her teenage granddaughter, Sage. So that's the other team, Debbie. She's a grandmother. She owns a bakery called Swirly Girls, and her teammate is her granddaughter, Sage. So there you go. Those are the two teams rising to Buddy's challenge, and they are competing head-to-head to win this competition.
I love this name of the bakery, Swirly. A swirl is like just a twisted or whirling sort of shape. Swirly Girls. So a swirl, if you put a swirl on the cake, it's kind of this round design that just keeps going around and around, and then it ends on the top. So Swirly Girls. Which there are a lot of swirlies if you make cakes and maybe you are making little roses or some sort of pretty decoration. You'll often go in that round shape, swirly. So they both have great granddaughters who are very good bakers already. It's amazing. Sage is kind of a new popular name. I've seen it used on both guys and girls. It's typically used with girls more often, but I have seen guys named Sage as well. Kind of means smart and wise, if you look at the meaning of the word. So the goal of each duo here just is another word for pair. For example, when we were growing up, there was a duo who would sing together. You Make My Dreams Come True.
Is that Hall & Oates?
Hall & Oates, yeah, duo. They're a duo. So these two teams are composed of a duo. They create their challenge, or their, it is a challenge. They have to create a 3-dimensional princess cake with a filling fit for royalty. Now, 3-dimensional is the way to write out in long form 3D, which means it has to look like it's actually real. It's not just flat, like a 2D, which just means it's on paper somewhere. It's a 3D princess cake, which is fun. If it's a princess cake, you know it's going to be girly and very pretty.
Right. A cake, of course, is already three-dimensional, so I'm not quite sure what they mean by this term. Otherwise, it would just be a drawing of a cake on a piece of paper if it's two-dimensional.
No, some cakes are flat on a sheet, and they're more square around. This has to be viewed from all sides.
Okay. Very good. Good enough, like a sculpture, perhaps.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's got that filling fit for royalty, like princesses and princes and kings and queens.
Good quality.
Indeed. And with access to all the ingredients and equipment they could dream of, the team's prepared to bake it like Buddy. So, indeed, they've got access to all this stuff here. Access means you can get it. If, of course, you stay in a hotel, you want internet access. You want to be able to use the computers and the internet. And equipment here, don't add an S to that. Equipment is a non-count noun. They're using all this equipment at their disposal, so they can bake it like Buddy, and they should produce some really wonderful results. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. It's time now to hear from our Chinese teacher.
继续，我们再来看，说到节目里面，它是2支队伍互相竞赛，给4个小时。可是 Buddy 他自己做蛋糕，他当然知道，你4个小时内要完成这样的任务并不简单，所以说 time management 非常的重要。他希望他这些来竞赛的人能够 manage their time efficiently， 也就是必须要很有效的管理他们的时间。那尤其是在设计上可能是很 complicated， 就是如果很复杂的话，那可能真的很需要时间。而你知道有一些蛋糕的馅，它还需要很多时间，然后才能够 set， 也就是说定位能够时间好，准备好，然后它还能够从上面，在它的上面这作为基底开始再往上搭，变成完整的蛋糕。好咯，我们继续来看，提到这个比赛，就先从第1集节目的内容谈起。好，Attempting to rise to Buddy's challenge on one episode. 好，注意到 attempting 这个 ing。当然，我们知道这个句构比较复杂。因为看起来为什么要从 attempting 开始？这是一个分词构句吗？不是的，仔细看这句其实是一个倒装句。它倒装句的真正的主词是后面的Two grandmother-granddaughter pairs， 是2对祖母和孙女这样的2对，然后打算在这个节目里头来面对这个挑战。所以倒装句的主词摆到后面，那动词到底在哪里？动词是中间的 are。那我们知道，如果你的补语部分很长，然后呢，你想要把它搬到前面的话是可以的哦。be 动词后面的这个补语整个搬到前面来，然后主词就变成在最后了。好，记得这个句型里面是补语前置成为倒装句。各位想要知道这2队队伍的比赛的过程跟最后如何得奖吗？好，我们下一次再告诉大家。我们今天就到这边结束。
That's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and please join us again next time for another edition of our program. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.